The truth uncovered Michael Baldwin's risky mission in the power war between Victor Newman and Jack Abbott. In the competitive and intrigue-filled world of Genoa City, characters like Victor Newman and Jack Abbott are constantly fighting to protect their empires. But in this war, one name that cannot be ignored is Michael Baldwin, a talented lawyer who is always caught up in difficult missions that can put him in danger. However, Michael's job this time will not be just an ordinary challenge, but a major turning point in his life and career. Double mission. Michael Baldwin and the war between Victor and Jack. With his sharp strategic ability and extensive experience in handling complex lawsuits, Michael Baldwin is always the person that Victor Newman can trust when it comes to handling important issues. However, Michael's upcoming job will not be simple. When Victor called him to his office, no one could have guessed that this would be a decisive meeting, opening a series of dramatic and risky events. Victor, who always pursues big goals, not only has to stand behind his business activities, but also has to face threats from his longtime enemies. One of his formidable opponents is none other than Jack Abbott. The feud between the two has lasted for many years, with endless struggles, from the struggle for power at Newman Enterprises to plots to destroy the opponent's reputation. Michael Baldwin, with his sharp wit and absolute loyalty to Victor, has taken on an important mission from him. This mission is not simply a lawsuit or legal dispute. Instead, Michael will have to participate in a secret campaign, monitoring and gathering information from Jack Abbott and those close to him. Jabau infiltration mission. Victor's plan is not limited to simply defeating Jack in the legal arena. He wants to completely control the internal information of Jabau, Jack Abbott's company, to find weaknesses and expose any secrets that could harm his opponent. Michael, with his extensive connections and professional spy network, has been assigned to lead the Jabau infiltration operation. Infiltrating a large company like Jabau is not an easy task. To carry out this mission, Michael has to attract talented spies who can blend into the company's internal affairs without being detected. From secret meetings to business transactions, everything must be closely monitored to ensure that Victor has important information. Although Michael is very good at handling difficult situations, this mission will still be a big challenge for him, because any mistake can lead to being discovered and causing trouble for Victor. As Michael begins to infiltrate Jabau, he not only has to deal with suspicion from the company's employees, but also has to deal with the complicated relationships between shareholders and the heads of the company's departments. Jack Abbott and those around him are very cautious and not easy to deceive. Michael will have to consider every step carefully because one mistake can ruin the whole plan. Investigating Aristotle Dumas, Victor's old enemy. Not only is Michael drawn into the war with Jack Abbott, he also has to participate in another equally risky mission, investigating Aristotle Dumas, an old enemy of Victor Newman. Dumas is a mysterious figure who has caused Victor a lot of trouble in the past. Dumas' relationships and intrigues are always in the dark, and drawing him out of hiding will be a difficult job. Victor has spent years tracking Dumas, but has never found a way to make him face the crimes he committed. Michael, with his sharp investigative skills, has been tasked with approaching and exploiting information about Dumas, finding his weaknesses and bringing him to light. But Dumas is not an easy opponent to deal with. He is very intelligent and always has a tight defense plan. Michael will have to work tirelessly, assembling the pieces of the past to find a way to approach Dumas. To do this, Michael will have to use all the skills he has, from analyzing information to attracting important figures to help. However, this is a mission that not only touches on justice but also a psychological war, where Michael's every decision and action will determine the final outcome. While Michael's work in the war between Victor and Jack may be difficult and dangerous, he also faces challenges in his personal life. As a famous lawyer who is always caught up in stressful situations, Michael sometimes feels isolated and tired. But no matter what, he always stays steadfast in his ideals and his responsibility to Victor Newman, who has trusted him for many years. Faced with dangers and threats, Michael cannot help but feel worried about the consequences that his work may bring. Will he be able to keep his life in this war? And will the plots he is carrying out lead to an ending that he cannot foresee? Michael Baldwin's work will not only be a professional challenge, but also a fierce battle not only between opponents but also between him and his own decisions. The war between Victor Newman and Jack Abbott has been going on for too long, and Michael's strategies may be the key to Victor's victory. But the tension, deception, and calculated decisions will continue to fuel the endless confrontations in the world of power in Genoa City. The secrets Michael will uncover, the conspiracies he will face, and the struggle between reason and emotion will put him to the test that not everyone can overcome. But as always, Michael Baldwin will never give up. And this time, the power play may bring an outcome that no one can predict. Michael Baldwin and the conspiracies of Victor Newman and Jack Abbott. In the powerful world of Genoa City, every move made by key figures can have far-reaching consequences. Not only for themselves but for the entire system they operate under. Ever-changing plans, tense conspiracies and tense confrontations have become an integral part of the lives of characters like Victor Newman, Michael Baldwin, Lauren Fenmore, and Nikki Newman. The story we are about to follow is a sudden shift in strategy, bold decisions, and internal struggles as these individuals face risky choices. Michael Baldwin's new mission: attack or compromise. Victor Newman, who has built the powerful Newman Enterprises empire over the years, has always known how to create complex strategies to confront his enemies. However, his tactics go beyond traditional lawsuits and business infighting and include bold moves and aggressive attacks to attract the attention of rivals and counter potential threats. One of the important and risky tasks that Victor assigns to Michael Baldwin is to launch a strong attack, possibly involving Aristotle Dumas, Victor's old enemy, or exploiting intelligence from Jabau's spies to gain an advantage for himself. Michael, despite being a talented lawyer, cannot avoid participating in these risky operations. By using information gathered from spies who have infiltrated Jabau, Michael will be able to help Victor gain important information about rival Jack Abbott, or make a bold move to expose Aristotle. Victor's instructions to Michael are not soft-spoken. He demands that Michael act quickly, accurately, and without leaving any traces, as any mistake could lead to unforeseen consequences. Victor not only wants to win this fight, but also wants to get revenge on Jack Abbott, who has caused him a lot of trouble in the past. To achieve his goal, Victor is willing to play dangerous cards, and Michael is the one who will have to carry out these decisive attacks. However, the risk does not only come from the enemy, but also from internal relationships. Michael will have to face difficulties in maintaining the relationship between himself and the people around him, especially when things become more and more complicated. Lauren Fenmore. The SOS between two forces. While Michael is facing Victor's strict demands, another woman is thinking about how to stop actions that she considers too dangerous and unethical. Lauren Fenmore, who has always been known for her cool head and loyalty to her values, cannot sit still when she learns that Michael is moving toward risky decisions in this confrontation. Lauren worries that Michael will be caught in a vicious cycle of power struggles between Abbott and Newman, and she does not want him to be forced into taking actions he will regret. Lauren decides to contact Nikki Newman, someone she knows can help in this situation. Lauren hopes that Nikki can convince her to stop, especially in preventing Michael from making decisions that could destroy everything he has worked so hard to build. While Victor continues to push forward with his plans, Lauren understands that Nikki, with her influence in the Newman family, may be the only one who can influence Victor. When Lauren and Nikki meet at the Jazz Lounge, a tense conversation ensues. Lauren admits that this meeting is not only due to her concern for Michael, but also because Victor is the reason for her actions. Lauren does not want to see Michael in a difficult situation, and wants Nikki to help her prevent any dangerous actions that Victor may take. However, Lauren does not only want to prevent, but also wants Nikki's support to prevent Michael from taking unethical or illegal actions. Nikki Newman, between loyalty and mercy. Nikki, although a strong and powerful woman in the Newman family, is not without mercy. When receiving Lauren's request, Nikki understands that she is in the middle of a difficult decision. While she wants to protect her family and please Victor, Nikki cannot help but feel concerned about the methods that Victor may use to achieve his goals. This meeting is not easy. Nikki knows that Michael is a smart person and not easily persuaded. However, she also knows that if left unchecked, things could push the Newman family into an irreversible confrontation. Although Nikki tries to influence Michael, that does not mean her plan will succeed. Michael is still loyal to Victor, and he will not easily abandon his mission, despite the pressure Nikki is putting on him. While Michael is faced with life-threatening decisions and Nikki tries to stop Victor's dangerous actions, the tension between the characters is escalating. The confrontation between Victor and Jack Abbott. with third parties like Michael, Lauren, and Nikki is just the beginning of a larger war, where every decision can change the whole situation. Can Michael carry out the mission that Victor has assigned to him without facing serious consequences? Will Nikki be able to thwart Victor's plans? Or will the Newman family ultimately pay the price for their risky strategies? In the world of power intrigue, no one can be certain of the future. Meetings, words, and split-second decisions can change everything. Everything is happening, and we can only wait and see who will be the ultimate victor. The tense showdown, Michael Baldwin, Lauren Fenmore, and the conspiracies that lurk. In the power-hungry world of Genoa City, secret wars are always shrouded in mystery, and every move made by key players can change the outcome of the fight. The feud between Victor Newman and Jack Abbott has been going on for a long time, but it has never subsided. This time, the appearance of Michael Baldwin, a man who has always been in the middle of these confrontations, will make the fight even more complicated and risky. Victor Newman, with his sharp strategic vision, has assigned Michael an important mission that could have unpredictable consequences. However, every decision Michael makes will affect not only him, but also the complicated relationships within the Newman and Abbott families. The relationship between Jack Abbott and Victor is increasingly tense, but someone else will soon find that he cannot stay out of it. It is Lauren Fenmore who cares deeply about Jack and does not want to see Michael drawn into this war. Can Lauren prevent this uncompromising confrontation? Michael Baldwin's tense mission. Victor Newman, always the mastermind behind complex strategies, gives Michael Baldwin strict instructions. Michael, despite being a brilliant lawyer and a loyal follower of Victor, will not avoid taking risks on this mission. Victor asks Michael to make a bold move that could attract the attention of Victor's longtime enemy Aristotle Dumas, or even use the intelligence from the spies embedded in Jabau to his advantage in his fight with Jack Abbott. Victor wants more than just intelligence, he wants a major blow to Jack Abbott, who has been at odds with him for years. Michael will have to use all his abilities to execute a strategy that can turn the tide of this power struggle. Although Michael knows that these actions can lead to serious consequences, he still has to follow Victor's orders. But this attack is not simply a battle between businesses, but also a psychological battle where every move is carefully calculated. Michael is well aware that any mistake in this mission can cause a breakdown not only in the relationship between Victor and Jack, but also affect the entire plan that Victor has worked so hard to build. Although there is a high chance that the mission will not be completed without resistance, Michael still has to continue. Lauren Fenmore, the one in the middle of conspiracy. While Michael is carrying out the mission for Victor, another important figure, Lauren Fenmore, is in the middle of great concerns. Lauren is not an outsider in these relationships, but someone who has a strong connection to Jack Abbott. She cares deeply for him and does not want to see Michael drawn into this war, because she knows that the consequences will be too great for everyone, especially Jack. Lauren knows that the confrontation between Victor and Jack is not simply a business battle, but also a struggle over personal values, loyalties, and long-term relationships. While Victor continues to push forward with his plans, Lauren worries that Michael will be drawn into dangerous situations that could make him less than himself. She wants to prevent any actions Michael may take that will harm everyone, including himself and those close to him. Lauren cannot sit still and wait. She decides to contact Nikki Newman, who she knows will have influence over Victor's every decision. Lauren knows that only Nikki can stop Victor's plans, at least for Michael. She tries to convince Nikki to meet with her to discuss the situation, knowing that this conversation will go a long way in keeping everyone safe. Lauren and Nikki's encounter. Lauren and Nikki meet in the Jazz Lounge, a quiet but tense space. When Lauren admits that Victor was the reason she called Nikki, the atmosphere becomes heavy. Lauren explains that she doesn't want Michael to get caught up in Victor's schemes, especially when those schemes could have serious consequences not only for Michael, but also for the Newman and Abbott families. With the complex relationships between Victor, Michael, Lauren, Nikki, and Jack, this story is leading everyone to a crucial turning point. The confrontations will only get more intense, and each move will determine who will ultimately win this power struggle. Michael Baldwin, who has always been loyal to Victor, will face difficult decisions and may have to pay the price for his actions. Meanwhile, Lauren, with the desire to protect Jack and Michael, will continue to find ways to prevent any actions that could cause harm. But will she succeed against Victor's determination? And Nikki, with a loyal but doubtful heart, will do what to do to protect her family? This power struggle will not end easily. The decisions being made will change everything, and no one can be sure what will happen next.